What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Today, we're going to be talking about the Precious Scars. I don't know what that was, but we're talking about this banger prismatic build that lets you heal yourself, heal your allies, turn yourself into that support titan instead of that monster that's just barreling through doors, yelling Leroy Jenkins. So we're using the Precious Scars helmet, well as prismatic. The little downside of this is we are using the Hammer of Soul Super, the Solar Super on prismatic, which is the lowest part, which is not a bad thing in my personal opinion. But we got Kintsugi right here, so final blows from weapons of a damage type matching our super. That's why we're using our Solar Super. Create a burst of healing around you that grants allies restoration after reviving or being revived. We also have an aura that provides overshield to us and nearby allies. So this, in the combination with that no hesitation, that little auto rifle that gives us healing as well, allows for some unstoppable healing from a Titan, which is unheard of compared to our Warlocks with that nice speaker's helm, as well as our super inside of Song of Flame, as well as that healing grenade. This will be just as good, almost I should say just as good. It's not quite there, but it is very, very close. So if that says anything, just keep on watching. So for our abilities, aspects, and fragments, like I said, Hammer of Soul, least best thing about this. It's still really good, but also not the best super, especially compared to some of these other bad boys that we do got. Towering Barricade is our ability. With Strafe Lift, you can go whichever one you like. I like this little bit Strafe. We're gonna go with Frenzy Blade, so we got that triple consecration, like always, creating some nice big ol' explosions with this build as well. I really like glacial grenades with this build on top of that, because we are getting a beautiful little bit of shatter and freeze from those enemies, because we're using a stasis weapon as well with that good old knockout. So we're getting melee range and damage increased, as well as amplification. So this little bit of crazy combination of abilities wipes out enemies with ease just in our abilities. So that's what we're using for a lot of the damage and add clear potential of this build. Facet of Courage, when we have Arc, Solar, or Void abilities, they deal increased damage to those targets affected by stasis or strand debuffs. So that means that we're getting a bunch of stuff from the debuffs that we're getting from the glacial grenades. So our slam and stuff like that will have even more damage going out to it. Defeating targets affected by stasis or strand debuffs grant us that light transcendent energy, helping us to become transcendent very quickly with this build as well. Facet of Awakening, rapidly defeating targets with a light or darkness damage or super final blows generate elemental pickups. So we're going to get almost every single elemental pickup that you can think of with this build. Tangles, stasis shards, ionic traces, as well as fire sprites. Don't know if we're getting any void breaches on this, but maybe out of some random thing. Second to last right here, we got Faucet of Protection. We are going to be running around with that, giving us some damage protection when we have enemies in close transcendence to us. So very good for that endgame content, especially when we're running around using Consecration. Then last but certainly not least, Facet of Ruin right here gives us those larger shatter as well as solar ignition, so it'll pair with the larger shatter of our glacier grenade, as well as the explosions that we're getting from our weapons, as well as our Consecration nice solar scorch explosions. As for weapons on this bad boy, we're going to be using a Lost Signal with this thing. I like Strategist Wellspring on this. Gives us our class ability, gives us some of our other abilities. It really feeds into ability spam with it. Plus, it applies with that nice stasis wall that we get with our Glacial Grenade. Now we got that No Hesitation. Physics Circular Life. You could use Physics Incandescent, basically interchangeable in my opinion, but Physics is definitely important. Rapidly healing allies grants you and our ally restoration. So on top of what we're getting from the helmet, by getting defeats with this weapon close to those enemies, we can also heal them with the weapon itself. Rapidly healing allies also gives us increased damage to the weapon, so it's a little perpetual feedback of dealing damage. We're going to get healing because of our helmet, and then when we're not getting the damage and healing because of our helmet, we're going to be able to shoot our teammates and get healing that way. So it's basically never ending with getting healing because of our weapon as well as our helmet. Now we're going to be using Whisper of the Worm, pretty good for that damage output, plus we're using this for our anti-barrier stuff, as you will see on our artifact in a second here, but Whisper is going to give us some pretty juicy aspect of this build, plus it's our anti-barrier side of it. Right here, for what we got going on in our mods as well as our stats, we're going to go with Resilience number 1, Discipline Strength number 2 and 3, as well as Recovery, trying to get that as high as we can for our number 4 slot. Over here, now we're going to go with the Heavy Ammo Finder, Hands-On, as well as Harmonic Siphon to create Orbs of Power, get our super back with our Consecration Slam, Momentum Transfer, Impact Induction, Heavy-Handed, create even more Orbs of Power for us because of our slams, Impact Induction with the Momentum, giving ourselves our melee as well as our grenade cooldown. Right here for your chest, I got it on this so you can kind of see it's very variable, totally up to you. If you need triple soul or something, triple arc something, you can totally, depending on the activity you're going into. Boots right here, got that solar weapon surge so we can have a nice little damage output on our solar weapons, including that damage on the sniper going up another 17% with recuperation, giving us some health replen on top of what we already got with Reaper, double bomber, so even more orbs of power, even more grenade energy back when we throw down our shields. So little feedback loop that we got just between everything up here as well as down here for getting our abilities back, making it easier to wipe out enemies. Now last but not least, like I said right here, we're going to be using the anti-barrier sniper for that nice Whisper the Worm winning hand. So our solar weapon is going to create some scorch intrinsically just because of this right here, and it's a dealer's choice weapon. We got overcharged armory because in that auto rifle as well as our grenade launcher, we got dealer's choice and radial area transposer, so we got both of those going on. Maybe they'll get a little bit of a weapon charge depending on if the modifier is active. Incendiary rifle rounds right here. Sniper rifles are going to scorch on precision hits, very good with Whisper. Creeping chill because of the freeze and stuff that we're going to get from our stasis grenade and that glacial grenade. Using our lost signal, going to be good for that burst of slowing to kind of chain that as well. Right here we're going to get even more ability back by using counter energy and stunning those champions. Radiant, very easy with this build as well because we're getting orbs everywhere from our abilities as well as our weapon defeats. Solar Fumation, making our ignitions even better, stacks with that Facet of Ruin. With Sniper Mediation, they gain even more damage on those stacking hits with the snipers, so allows the Whisper of the Worm to do some pretty disgusting damage with the 17% damage increase we're getting from the Surge mods, as well as Sniper's Mediation. And then of course we got Shield Crush right here, which when we have any of these buffs on us, we're going to get our abilities best based on which ones that we got. So use this basically all the time just to get our intrinsic abilities back by just getting a buff on us, amplification, over shield, anything like that. So we're able to really juice enemies with this. Very easy to take it through GMs, normal content. It was a fun little build to have sometimes with the Whisper to get some of those snipers depending on where they were, and the other enemies that were shooting us can be a little bit of an issue, but Whispered is still goated in my personal opinion, especially since we got that next bottom row with the anti-barrier sniper, the filmation, everything like that with Sniper's Mediation as well. Definitely my Titan should try this out. A very fun healing build that is pretty off meta if you do say so myself. I guess you could say that, but it's pretty good. Pretty much the same thing, a little bit less effective as the Speaker's Helm Solar Warlock with the healing grenades, but it is very, very close because when we get defeats with our solar weapons, our helmet is going to heal our enemies, and then we can use our gun itself to also heal our enemies with restoration, so it's going to be flying around like no one's business. Very easy to stay alive in that endgame content. So thank you guys again for always coming back. Means a lot to me, means a lot to the channel. Don't be afraid to like and subscribe if you would like. Also helps me out a bunch and helps out the channel. Hit that bell so you don't miss out on any of the videos, builds, weapon guides, anything like that. So really appreciate you guys. Look out for some new gameage coming. Don't know really what I'm gonna be going for. A couple Star Wars games, got Borderlands. We'll see what goes on, but y'all will have to let me know if there's anything you want me to play yourselves or anything that sounds interesting in that aspect. So comment that down below and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.